What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Chase on Two Wheels First Ride here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell. Wait, Marietta. Whoops. We have a 2018 KTM 690 Duke. Now, in real time, I just did the first ride on the 390 Duke, so I'm like, I've gotten 3 mushrooms on Mario Kart, and I've gone, and I've gotten the 690. Obviously, they look totally different. The 690 didn't get the big styling change that the 390 did this year model, but they are coming out with a 790 soon, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the replacement of the 690, so that's probably why it didn't get the upgrade. We now basically have, when I say this is the mushroom, it's a bigger sized engine, but I think it's the same type engine. I think it's still a single cylinder engine. I'm pretty excited. I've been doing a lot of beginner bikes or lower CC to lower displacement bikes lately, so I'm kind of excited to get back on a bigger bike. So without further ado, I know you guys are ready to see what this bike looks like. Let's get started. Oh, look how nice. They're telling us that the kill switch is engaged. Well, let me fix that. Now check out the dash. We got a fuel gauge, we got our temp gauge, speed, tach. Oh, you can't really see that. That's really hard to see. Can we adjust this? Nope. Oh, we're in kilometers an hour again. Hold on, let's see if we can change this stuff. Right here and now. Actually, it's not gonna. Jeez, that's a lot of space. Holy. All right, let's get it started. ABS failure, that's not what you want to see. Okay, so settings, here we go. There we go, look at that, distance in kilometers. Boom, miles. Huh, easy as that. And this, my friends, is why I love having a very easy setup. If you're gonna have a fancy tach, a fancy TFT dash, you gotta have easy controls. So I was able to change that to miles per hour. Probably should have done that with the Duke, but I didn't think about it. All right, so this is a really relaxed body position, gotta be honest. My legs have plenty of freaking room. I like this, man. I like this a lot. All right, let's get out on these mean streets. Get it going. We're gonna get hit by a car? No, I'm not. Whoa, that brake is high up. Okay, so I'm not too big of a fan of where the pedals are. The brake, it's bitey, like it'll grab my foot and it has a lot of friction, but I'm not happy with the spacing on these bikes. And I can't see the dash. Okay, we're gonna have to make assumptions on what we're looking like. Alrighty, let go. Woohoo! Okay. Man, when you go from riding lower displacement bikes to some ones like this, it is a little shocking sometimes. This thing feels like a big old dirt bike, dude. My legs have so much room. I can tell you off the bat, this thing would be awesome for beginner riders because I've got so much space. You know, like, look at that. My legs can go all the way down here. So you could easily be like 6'5". Your legs would be up there. I gotta say, man, the mirrors, they shake a little bit, but they're out far enough. I mean, we got these big old tree trunk things. Oh, that's just rubber. So there must be a metal piece in there. Yeah, there is. The mirrors shake, which is kind of what I expect out of a KTM, but they work. You know, I can see what's going on behind me. I really don't like where the shifter is. It is so high. Not a fan of that at all. Woohoo! All right. It's got some power. It has got a little bit of power. Good Lord. Man, I was so glad that I rode this. It is, like, when you give it power, it's not really that smooth, but that's okay. That's kind of what I think you're supposed to expect out of a single cylinder bike. The power is there, but it just doesn't come on in a very smooth way. One thing I do like right now, though, is You know, on my WR250, it's a Supermoto, obviously, and you sit really high up, you get that same feeling with this thing. I feel way high up on the bike, and my legs have plenty of comfortable room. I'm getting that real Supermoto-esque feel with this thing. It looks like we've got an adjustable brake lever, but the clutch is not adjustable. So, man, look at the shaking. God almighty. This bike definitely fits in with all the other KTM's very shaky bikes. Actually, surprisingly, the Duke 390 wasn't that shaky, but this thing's a little... It throws me back to my old KTM days. Not that I ever owned one, but when I did first rides on KTMs back in the day, my comment was always they were real shaky, and this one kind of fits in with that. Handlebars do feel a little closer in. I must have rode a bike recently that the handlebars are really wide, and I must have gotten used to that because now these handlebars seem short. Really wish this guy could be angled differently. It's kind of a letdown. Oh, look at the coolant. It's the same plot as the RC390. So as far as this bike goes, it does have ABS, but I believe it's only in the rear. The Duke 690 is an odd thing because it's got basically the basic model, and then you can get the track model, and you get more options, like way more options with the track model. But those options would be really good for the street. So it's interesting that they would call it track. I wish it would be like a sports or something. One thing I do like about the shifters, they're very tactile. They click when you shift up and down, so you know you're in the gear, you know you've shifted and it's accepted your shift and all that kind of stuff. All right, guys, got the highway section coming up. We're on a Duke 690. This should be, I'm betting it's going to be about middle grade. We don't have a lot of wind protection on this bike, but we should have enough engine to be able to comfortably ride on the highway. You know, I should have plenty of passing potential. Suspension's pretty soft. I'm going over these bumps and just going right over them, not really feeling a lot. If I remember correctly, this bike has an adjustable rear shock. God, the shaking is insanity. Let's go, Duke! Woohoo! With all the cops being around, God almighty at the engine braking. Look at that. You just fall down, like it follows you forward. It follows you forward. I literally just said that. Oh my God, the wind. I can't do this wind. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to like, there's nothing to tuck into. It doesn't do any good to tuck in on this bike. It has been a long time since I've had a bike that's been this bad in the wind. It is a windy day, but my goodness. So similar to the 390 Duke, the power does kind of tap out on the highway, but you definitely have enough to keep playing around. We're in 6th gear and I've still got enough pull to get around traffic, so it's much better than the 390 Duke, but the wind is just killing me. And then look at the dash. I can't even see the dash. I literally have to do this to see the dash. That's not good at all. That's interesting, man. I knew this thing wouldn't be a highway beast, but I kind of, you know, you got to put this in the class with like the FZ07 or something. The FZ07 is a solid freaking bike, so it has a lot to live up to. I will say the brakes are solid. That's one thing I'm noticing is like when I get on the brakes, it grabs my foot because it's got that teethed pedal, that toothed pedal or whatever. I'm pretty surprised at how much this bike engine brakes, especially on the highway. Like I'm getting thrown forward when I let off the throttle. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. That's kind of like a per person dependent thing. If you like a lot of engine braking, that's good. I personally do. Some people don't like a lot of engine braking, so that's something you got to kind of just decide for yourself. Let's see if we can come to a stop without using much brakes. Look at that, that's no brakes. Can come all the way down to about 15 miles an hour with no brake usage from the highway. I wonder if you bought this motorcycle, if you could modify this thing, because that's not really safe to not be able to see stuff. I just clicked it up into what should have been neutral, but I couldn't see it. It went to second, you know, stall the bike. So, highway section. Not the best. Not the best. It's got the power. It's definitely got the power to do the highway. It just doesn't have the wind resistance. I am kind of in love with the body position, though. You know what this bike reminds me of? My first bike was a SV650, and it had a similar kind of gruntiness about it that this bike reminds me of. To be clear, I loved the shit out of that bike. Somebody rear-ended me, or they ran into the bike when it was, what was it, St. Patrick's Day. Rear-ended the bike so much that it toppled over and it got totaled out. Otherwise, I think I would probably still have that bike. It was so amazing. I love the power delivery. I love when the power kicked in. That's what this bike reminds me of. So as far as the controls, I feel like, honestly, KTM is class leading in rider control layouts. Obviously, there's not a lot going on over here, but literally this is all you need to get anything going on the screen. Up, down, back, select. If more motorcycle manufacturers did this, I feel like people would really be able to take advantage of what their bike can do. Because what sucks is, you know, these bikes have all these cool things you can do to them, and then it's too damn difficult to get to those modifications or change those settings, and you never end up changing them. Whereas this bike, you know, or most of the KTMs that I've ridden, it's so easy. You can actually, you know, make the modifications. You can turn the ABS on and off when you want to and when you don't want to. You know, it's little shit like that that's really cool, and it's what I look for in a bike when I'm looking for a bike I want to own. What lane? These bikes are so fun down low, man. They are grunty. Look at that. That's 4th freaking gear. I bet you I could wheelie it in 4th gear. If it was my bike, I might consider it. But it's not, so I won't. Alright guys, we're going to pull over up here. We're going to take a look at the 2018 KTM Duke 690. If I can find the rear brake pedal, which I have a hard time doing. Clicking it off. Oh, look at that. How nice to tell me that the kill switch is down. I appreciate it. Alrighty guys, 2018 KTM Duke 690. Basically the big brother of the Duke 390. Just without the upgrade as far as the LED lights and all that kind of stuff. Bike doesn't really do it for me looks wise, but you know, that's a personal opinion. I am surprised that we're looking at a KTM that the only orange on the bike are in a couple spots. So it turns out you can get a KTM that's not orange, so good on them. Now here we got this big old single cylinder engine. I do believe, I could be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure that's a single. And it's massive. I've seen other videos on this bike and people say that it doesn't have the power that they expect it to have, but I didn't find that to be true at all. I found the power like exactly where I would expect it to. Now that could be because I just came off of the 390, so you know, you get that big power like jump, like holy crap. Wait, we do have ABS in the rear. Okay, I thought it only had ABS in the rear, so I was wrong about that. There you go. Exhaust, whatever, doesn't really do a lot for me, but it is what it is. I'll say this about the Duke 690. It's a solid city bike that has a lot of torquey grunt, but I don't think I would want to take it on the highway. I do like the kind of shield look. The bike's headlight kind of looks like it has a shield. And like I was saying on my 390 review, this angled in situation, oh, I love the hell out of that, dude. You gotta appreciate the little handlebars back here, the handles. So if you have a passenger, which this bike could do really well, it's really torquey, it's gonna handle a passenger fine. Passenger has something to hang on to. They don't have to hang on to you, which is really nice, because passengers, if you brake, they bump into you and your nuts bump into that. If you're a guy. If you're a girl, you don't have that problem. I would personally, you know, not have that. That looks a little bulbous and I don't like the look of that. So, as we always do, guys, we're going to turn the bike on, give it a little rev, check it out. But before I do that, I highly recommend you guys going and checking out the blog post. I'm trying to do a lot more with the blog post that I do for each bike. So, I take some dope photos, I do a little write-up, do some recommended gear if you're looking at this bike, some gear that'll go with your bike. We're also doing a write-up, and I'm going to let you hear the exhaust here on the GoPro, but it's a GoPro, it's the microphone and the helmet, it's not the greatest. I do some high-quality audio for the stock exhaust on my website, so if you guys want to find out more info on this bike and stuff like that, make sure to click that top link in the description and go check it out. But without further ado, let's listen to this thing. Are we in neutral? Because we don't really know on the screen. We have to get on top of it. All right. 2018 KTM Duke 690. Stock exhaust, stock everything. It has got a grunty sound. So yeah, guys, that's the bike. We're gonna get on it, finish this first ride up. Interesting, see, I'm in first gear and I don't really have that engine braking, but when I'm up high in the revs, I get a lot of engine braking. So it's almost like it changes for the environment of how you're riding. If you are a beginner and you get this bike, it does have ABS, so it's gonna help you out there. But with these torquey engines, you got to be careful, because you don't let the throttle out or the clutch out the right way and you give it a lot of throttle and you accidentally dump the clutch. Woo, boy, you're going to really find out what the sky looks like. Let me just tell you. So guys, we got this 2018 KTM Duke 690. Really torquey, really windy on the highway. So the question is, who do I recommend this bike for? It's very rare that I recommend a naked bike for a commuter bike, and this is the same situation. I really can't recommend this thing to somebody that's going to be on the highway a lot. It's got plenty of power to be on the highway, but you're going to get fatigued so quickly with so much wind on you. I think the brakes are really good. The throttle has really good input. Like, I love the way the power is delivered on this bike. The only things I don't really like are the angle of the dash. I really, like, it's borderline not safe to have it like that. So if I were to buy this bike, I would look at modifying that. You know, maybe just like taking it out and like putting in a longer screw or a washer or something so it angled differently. The pedals, so the brake pedal and the shifter pedal, like, I honestly hate where they are. Those things are adjustable, and if they're not really expensive to get different pedals that are adjustable. So I don't think it's that really big of a deal. You know, you could get a modification for it or an aftermarket piece and you're fixed. You know, you don't have to worry about it. But that's definitely something I would be looking into if I got this bike. It is a little shaky. A lot of KTMs are. I don't think that's really that big of a deal. It's kind of just one of the things you kind of know and accept with different motorcycle brands. So guys, that's all I got for the 2018 KTM Duke 690. Good lord, that thing's loud. Overall, it's a pretty solid bike. It's got a little quirks that I'm not a huge fan of, but nothing that's catastrophic to the bike. It's still a solid bike, and I still maintain that. While we're back here at Mountain Motorsports, got to give a final shout out to these guys. Mountain Motorsports, this time in Marietta. This is where all the KTMs are. If you guys are in the North Georgia area, I highly recommend you guys coming and checking Mountain Motorsports out. They are the awesome dealership that just let me ride whatever I want to ride so that you guys can know what it's like riding these things for the first time. So massive appreciation to those guys. And if you guys haven't seen the Duke 390 first ride, highly recommend it, because that bike is freaking dope. But anyways, guys, that brings us to the end of the 2018 KTM Duke 690 first ride. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We have a ton of first rides here on the channel. And make sure to check out the blog post if you're into the Duke, or if you have a buddy that is looking for the Duke 690. Guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. All right, Outro crew, which one? Would you pick the 690 or would you pick the 390? The choice is yours. Goodbye.